immune system becomes less intelligent, and the detoxification enzymes in your liver are less efficient. So every minute of your life, 2 quarts of blood go through your liver. And there are detoxification enzymes there that normally do a pretty good job of breaking things down, converting them into neutral compounds that your body can excrete safely. So medications that you take, and alcohol, and old hormones, pesticides, herbicides, supplements that you take, everything eventually gets broken down by detoxification enzymes. And they leave your body out of the urine or out of the fecal route, one way or the other. And those are pretty efficient enzymes until you get a little bit older. As you get older, they're not as intelligent. So some of the cancer-causing agents that get into your body from the environment can stay in your bloodstream longer and pose a risk to causing mutation and cancer, triggering cancer, as you're going to see in a minute. And your immune system is weaker as you get older. You know that. You think of somebody who's 18 years old and they get pneumonia. You go, oh, give them some antibiotics, they'll be fine in a couple of weeks. Somebody 85 years old gets pneumonia, you go, oh my God, they could die. It's the same disease. So what is it, that the 85-year-old doesn't have the same white blood cell count? They have not as many immune cells? No. They have the same white blood cell count, unless they have leukemia or some serious disease or side effect to a medication. But normally, the 85-year-old and the 18-year-old have the same white blood cell count. They have the same number of immune cells. But we know that these immune cells are not nearly as efficient as someone who's younger. Isn't that true? Why is this? Because that's how nature wants it. Nature wants your immune system to get weak so that viral infections will show up. And so that your natural killer cells can't spot cancer cells as easily. So it looks like this. After the age of 50, the immune and detoxification centers become more sluggish. You're more prone to life-threatening infections as you get older. Your immune cells can't identify cancer cells as efficiently, and I'm going to show you in electron scanning microscope pictures of how those immune cells actually kill cancer cells. You're going to be astonished. And so more cancer-causing substances can escape surveillance, or they don't get detoxified as fast, so your risk of cancer increases after the age of 50. You go, yeah, okay, so by how much? Let's take a look. This is Canada. Here's the incidence of colon cancer after the age of 50. Here it is after age 49. Here's the incidence of colon cancer after the age of 50. Through the roof. Look at death from breast cancer in Canada after age 50. Hello and goodbye, like a rock. Next slide. Men are not immune. Prostate cancer, age 50, hello, and away we go. 1 in 9 men developing prostate cancer. It's not just because immune systems and detoxification systems are more sluggish. I'm going to show you some other things that are important to this model. But this is a very critical component that your immune cells cannot identify cancer cells as well. You see, and we're going to talk about this later. Every single day of our lives, our bodies, by mistake, as an old cell is replacing itself and a new cell emerges, sometimes there's some errors going on and a new cell, a cancer cell will start to form. By mistake, every single day of our lives we form some cancer cells. That's documented. I have some books to show you later from medical doctors who say that's right. The thing is that as the cancer cell is starting to emerge, the cancer cell has in its genetic material little antennas, little sensors that say, hey, you know what, this cell is becoming a cancer cell. I'm going to secrete some proteins that will cause this cell to commit suicide so it doesn't get a chance to get any traction in the body. But cancer cells are pretty damn intelligent. They say, you know, I'm not so sure I want to die so fast. So they sometimes secrete other proteins to block the death proteins, and they get a chance at survival. Now, the only chance to stop them after that is immune cells, natural killer cells, and macrophages that circulate around go, I'm walking around the body in case a cancer cell starts to, cancer cell, kills it. Your immune cells have to kill that cancer cell. If it doesn't, then now you've got a full-blown cancer. You understanding this? Let's go to the next slide for a second. This is electron microscope scanning, showing that's a real cancer cell right there. Pretty ugly with all these spindly things coming off the hub. And you know what these are? These are natural killer cells that your own immune system makes. Natural killer cells, when they're working properly, they have the right nutritional support. When they see a cancer cell, they say, that doesn't belong. They go up to the cancer cell and they blow some chemicals. Let's go to the next slide, we'll show you how it gets done. It blows some chemicals, these proteins, into the cells, the skin of the cancer cell, opens up a pore, and then it injects a protein that tells the cancer cell, commit suicide, you loser. And it commits suicide, and you see how it gets flattened here? That's the actual end product of a natural killer cell killing what could have been a lethal cancer in a person. You seeing that? Next slide. It's not just natural killer cells that do this for you. It's also macrophages. These macrophages attach to all of our cells, even our healthy cells, have what are called death receptors. Once a cell gets kind of old and doesn't belong in the body anymore, macrophages will say, hey, you know what? Time to knock this cell out. Attaches to a death receptor, says to the cell, commit suicide, and the cell does. So because cancer cells they didn't come from outer space. A cancer cell was once a normal cell that got transformed, and then it became a cancer cell. And we'll see how that happens. But once it's there, it used to be a normal cell, and now it's a cancer cell. It still has some of the old features of the normal cell. It still has death receptors. So macrophage cells attach to the death receptors on cancer cells, and those macrophage cells secrete chemicals that tell the cancer cell to commit suicide. Now here's the problem, is that as we get older, our immune cells are less intelligent. We're not just more prone to infection, but they can't kill those cancer cells as well. Here's the other problem. Cancer cells secrete chemicals that weaken the immune system, so it has trouble doing it. It's like this. Remember how strong Superman was? I was a kid watching Superman. He's crashing through buildings and rescuing women and flying through the sky. Unless he was around kryptonite. Remember having to get around kryptonite? Weak. All the women are going, is that a true story? The guys are going, that's what happened to Superman. He once reversed the spinning of the world and went around on the opposite axis, and he went back in time. It was really cool. Anyway, so Superman, when he's around kryptonite, is weak. And that's what happens. The cancer cells secrete chemicals that make the immune system, they can't get there to knock them out. But there are nutrients and chemicals that can make the immune cell stronger. You ever heard of somebody that had cancer and they gave them interferon treatment? Is it because the interferon kills the cancer? No. Because the interferon is what those immune cells need to overcome the kryptonite and get to the cancer cell and kill it. Now I'm going to tell you something. Every day of your life, your body makes interferon and a whole bunch of other immune modulator chemicals, but there are nutrients that are required to keep that happening optimally. Next slide. Over your lifetime. And we've seen this, even Dr. Prasad at Memorial University in Newfoundland here in Canada, and also at Tufts University, studies out of Tufts say people, even older people, that are on a high-potency multivitamin that contains higher doses of vitamin C, and E, and selenium, and zinc, and beta-carotene. You give them a high-potency multi with 1,000 milligrams of C, and 400 E, and 10,000 beta-carotene, 100 micrograms of selenium, 15 milligrams of zinc, or 20 milligrams of zinc. They have stronger immune systems than people of the same age who aren't on a supplement like that. So I think over your entire lifetime, because the immune system needs support, you should be on a high-potency multivitamin. We'll come back to that. But after the age of 50, to take it to the next level, to really overcome the age-related decline, from the studies that I've seen today, the two most powerful immune modulators that exist in the natural world are reishi mushroom extract and astragalus. Now there's all kinds of things that augment the immune system, right? Cold FX, echinacea, there's lots of stuff out there. There's all kinds of things that if you say, where have there been the largest number of clinical studies on human subjects who already had weakened immune systems from radiation treatment or chemotherapy that brought their immune systems back to the strongest point possible? Where is the evidence for that? The strongest evidence is for reishi mushroom extract and astragalus. I'll be happy to send you the monographs and all the scientific evidence on that if this is too quick for you. If you want to read it for yourself, I have it all. And then to boost the detoxification centers in the liver that are getting sluggish as you get older, milk thistle and the indole 3-carbinol boost it back so it can work at a more youthful point, so less carcinogens build up in the bloodstream in the first place. Now you already know this. This should not be a surprise. You've heard this before, right? That women who eat more cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, don't they have a lower lifetime risk of developing breast cancer? Have you heard this before? Why is this? Because those cruciferous vegetables contain an active ingredient that you can't find anywhere else. It's called the indole 3-carbinol. They also contain sulforaphane, which also helps in detoxification. And so when you look at the studies on the indole-3 carbenols, even been used in supplementation studies, it really super boosts detoxification pathways in the liver. We think that's how it's primarily protecting us against cancer. And so I combined the 4 of those things, reishi mushroom, with astragalus, with milk thistle, indole-3 carbonol, all into one complex that I call Amino Detox Prime, that I think people by the age of 50 would be wise to utilize. So that's the age 50 story. Go on. But I would also suggest that you eat those cruciferous vegetables. We'll come back to that. You should be getting the indole-3 every day. If you like, try to have either broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, bok choy, turnips. Don't let a day go by without one of them. And also garlic and onion is a disulfide compound. Boosts detoxification. Watch your alcohol consumption. It weakens your immune system. I'll take questions at the end if you